What is up, traders? Welcome to a new daily watches video. Let's quickly dive through charts to see what could happen today. First of all, what we saw on Eurodollar and many euro pairs is that we opened with a gap. Like yesterday evening, like Monday morning, we opened with a gap on the Eurodollar and other dollar pairs. By doing that, we broke the trend line on Eurodollar and many other dollar pairs. For now, I am expecting this gap to be filled. So as you can already see, we got a rejection, like we shot up pretty quickly, and after that we made a rejection in the last 4-hour candle. For now, we did break the trend line and we created a demand zone. I was expecting price to go a little bit lower, especially since we got like a lot of liquidity in here. But instead of that, yeah, like Friday evening, we closed a little bit higher, and after that Monday morning, we just closed right above this trend line. So for now, it is still a valid zone. So I am watching this one. I'm not going to take longs immediately from the zone, but it is a zone of interest for me. If price might shoot higher from here, this is another zone, another supply zone that is pretty interesting. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, what we can see is that price is coming out of a demand zone. So we had like a larger demand zone in here, right? I was expecting price to go a little bit lower, break the lows, but it didn't really happen. So for now, we are still in this demand zone, but I am expecting this gap to be filled I think today or like maybe Tuesday. This gap is probably going to be filled. And for now, yeah, I'm just mainly watching the 4-hour to see what is going to happen, if we can hold this demand zone or not, or if this is just like a fake out to take the liquidity, and if price still wants to head lower until our demand zone like lower in here, right? For now, I am just watching this demand zone in here to see what price will do. Now, if we go to the DXY, we see like a similar play. However, you have to keep in mind that this trend line is not yet broken. So what we saw on the DXY is we saw a move to the downside. We didn't really see a gap like on Eurodollar, but still we saw that downward move, right? Now we had a trend line in here, and this is basically the last low. We draw our trend line because this rally up was the new higher high. This is not a new higher high, so this is not a valid low for me. And if we draw our trend line like this, then we can see that we never really closed below there. So what you want to see, if you want to see like a trend line break, is that price doesn't touch the trend line. So we really like closed below the trend line. That didn't really happen in here. I still drew my supply zone in here, but for me this is not like super valid. We still have supply in here, so there is still a possibility that price still is going to break the trend line, maybe today or tomorrow. But for now, this is not a valid short for me, so I'm also not going to take it. I'm just patiently waiting what price is going to do, if it's going to remove this zone and probably go higher from there, or it still makes a turnaround and goes back down, breaks the trend line, and then eventually maybe visit the lows in here again. For now, I'm just patiently waiting and watching the charts to see what could happen. Now that said, moving over to AUDUSD real quick. And what is happening with AUDUSD is nothing like significant. We can see we are just still stuck in the range. We had a small trend line break in here, creating another switch zone basically at the 0.5 range level. For now, we just came out of the 0.75 range level, but I don't really want to talk too much about it. We are just stuck in the range. We are pretty much going back to mid-range now, and I really want to see a breakout either way to the upside or to the downside. Besides that, I don't like to trade this at all. It's just really ugly price action. So if the DXY starts breaking up, it can go down. If the DXY starts breaking down, then AUDUSD can go up. But for now, I'm just watching either way the upper zone or the lower levels being removed. That said, moving over to the GBPUSD real quick. And what is happening here is a similar move as EURUSD. So what we can see is we had our trend line in here, we had some supply in here. It looks like it is going to be removed, but the trend line is not yet broken. So I had like a demand zone in here, but it is not yet confirmed. I want to see another break to the upside. Same with the DXY. I want to see another break to the downside before I can confirm my bias to go long on a GBPUSD or like other pairs. Same goes for EURUSD. I want to see that clear breakdown on the DXY before I'm going to take any trades. But for now, yeah, we are on top of this trend line. I think we can still take some liquidity from these highs in here. And that's also what I'm watching. For now, nothing really significant for today. Now moving over to the NZDUSD, what we can see is that we had like a similar trend line, We did not break it. We did create like a double top, so this one can still be taken out. But for now, price is still bearish. We never broke this trend line, so we don't really have a demand zone below in here. And I am still expecting price to visit at least this demand zone below and there. So if the DXY starts turning bullish, NZD dollar can easily fall down into our demand zone again. But I don't really like to take any shorts from here. So either way, I'm watching this trend line being broken, or I'm not doing anything on NZD dollar for now. That said, moving over to gold, and what we can see on gold is also that we are just stuck in this range. We had a small long in here last week. Currently we can see like we had a trend line in here, we had a supply zone being removed, and we created another demand zone right at the 0.25 level. For now, this would still be a valid zone to take an entry. However, you also have to keep in mind that this same level is a level we visited before, right? Like we had this overall level from here until all the way in there. It's a lot of liquidity still. You might get a nice entry in here, but for me, it's not really clear. It's not really clean right now. And I clearly want to see like any bias, any direction for now. I am still bullish on gold, nevertheless, but what I prefer to see is that price really taking out this supply, taking out the 0.75, then breaking up, and then I'm gonna take my longs like a little bit higher. But I have my bias, I have my confirmation that price really wants to go up. For now, I'm just neutral, basically. Like we got some demand zone in here, we got some supply zone in here, we are stuck in mid-range, so I am neutral. I prefer to see a break to the upside and then creating another demand zone, and probably we get like a steep rally to the upside if that happens. Or either way, we're just gonna break down and visit like our levels in here, like lower in here. But nevertheless, I am still bullish on gold long term, but I really want to see like a clear breakout to the upside or to the downside. Doesn't really matter for me, but I really want to see that clear rejection. Now, that said, let's move over to the Bitcoin real quick. And regarding the Bitcoin, what we can see is that I lost my chart again. But what we can see in here is that we had a clear breakout to the upside. That is really what I wanted to see. We had our supply zone in here being removed, and we created new demand, right? Like we have demand in here, and we have some lower demand in there. But basically, we took out the highs in here. We created this demand zone, and currently price can go back here and maybe start flying from there. We have like an overall bigger demand zone if you drill like the lows in here. We draw them with the zone, right? But for now, it can shoot up. I want to say I'm still a little bit bearish actually on Bitcoin, but for now it does look good. We broke the highs, we broke the trend line. What I want to see right now is that we are going inside of this demand zone again, inside of this area of supply in here, and make like a clear move back to the upside. If that can happen, we can easily create like another higher high and probably visit like the highs in here again. So for now, I am watching the zone to see if there's any play, to see if anything nice, anything clean basically shows on the chart, like on the lower time frames, and I might eventually even take a quick long in there, but preferably I want to see a breakout to the upside first before I'm going to take some more longs and basically ride it back. Like it's going to be like a ping pong, like we are stuck in the low of this range. We can easily go back to the middle of this range and maybe eventually the highs of this range. Yeah, that said, I'm going to close the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.